Have you ever had a day off and you had a whole bunch of stuff you wanted to get accomplished that day, and then at the end of the day, you go, where did the time go? And you didn't get everything accomplished that you wanted to get accomplished. Today we're going to talk about some ways to manage your time in a more effective way. Before we get into that topic, though, we're going to want to remind you guys that I will be in Houston, Texas, July 29th and 30th of this year, and this year being 2024. I'm going to be giving 2 classes as a part of the Food Truck Owners Expo. The first class will be on menu preparation and writing a menu for profit. The second one is going to be on how to market yourself in your off-season. In between those 2 classes, so on Monday and Tuesday, as soon as the classes are over, I'm going to be out on the main floor, going to be answering questions, holding campfire sessions where you guys can sit down and talk to me and ask any kind of questions y'all have. So again, join me on July 29th and 30th in Houston, Texas. Go to ftoexpo.com. Order your tickets today and use code FTTG15 to get a 15% discount. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. Want to know the secret to boosting sales and growing a crowd of loyal customers? It's marketing. Learn how to create a powerful marketing plan with the Food Truck Marketing Guide from Table Needs. Get your copy today. The link is in the description below. This past Saturday, Melissa and I were working, and it was relatively slow Saturday for us. So what we do when it's slow is one of us will get on the Facebook group and approve all the posts that need to be approved, and then look at the moderation list to see what needs to be moderated and if there's something we need to take action on. Well, this particular Saturday, there was a post that we let through in the early morning, and by the time that pre-lunch and then lunch rolls around, that post was getting lots and lots and lots of comments back and forth. What that tells us as admins of the Facebook group is there's some bickering going on, because people don't just back and forth on a post. No matter what the topic is, it just doesn't happen unless it's a little bit controversial or a little bit provocative, and then everybody's got an opinion and they got to throw it out there. So this particular post, it was like 2 or 3 lines, and they were talking about how they operate their business and one of the breakfasts that they sell. It was a biscuit with gravy. It was pepper gravy. It had a slice of bacon, had some fried apples, and it reminded me immediately of my grandmother's breakfasts that we used to have at the table there in Floyd County, Kentucky. We had a couple of different apple trees, and we would pick apples, bring them in the house. Grandma would turn them into apple butter. Sometimes she would fry up the apples for breakfast, but usually she tried to have some type of fruit item for our breakfasts. And apples was the most common one that we would get. So this particular breakfast had a lot of nostalgia for me. Didn't really think a second thought about it. It's pretty cool. Reminds me of Grandma's cooking. And then we go off to work on the food truck. Well, like I said, we got those notices and we're looking at them, and Melissa's like, well, you need to look at these. And I know when she says those words that there's bickering going on, or somebody has said something stupid, and we have to go in and be the heavy-handed admins and delete comments and then chastise people for being rude or just being mean or being bullies. So this post had a lot of people that were looking at it going, oh, it's ugly, and saying all kinds of bad things about the particular presentation of this food item, of this plate. And the comments about the presentation were justified. What they were saying, on the other hand, and how they were saying it was not justified. So we had to delete a whole bunch of dumb people's comments. Someone calling it dog food and that type of thing. You don't need that on a group. Be constructive, be helpful, or shut up. Then as I'm deleting like a half a dozen or so comments, I'm like, don't these people have something to be doing today? And I looked at the time. I'm in the central time zone, and I'm in the middle of what should have been our busiest hour, and it wasn't. It was not very busy at all. And I'm like, I should not have time to do this. These people shouldn't have time to do this. And it got me to thinking, we've got a problem. We've got a time management problem. The fact that I can delete all of these posts and have to chastise all of these people that are saying mean things, I shouldn't have the time to do it. I should be handling this at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, not in the middle of what should have been our busiest hour. People on the East Coast would have been coming out of their busiest hour. They shouldn't have had time to be posting. Certainly people in Central Time Zone should be in the height of their business. They should not be able to post at all. The people on the West Coast they should be prepping and getting ready for their busiest hour. It's a Saturday, and across the country, most people were having very good weather. So why were you not out at some festival or out somewhere to make money? But man, 60-some people found a way to comment on this post. So I'm figuring if 60 people, which is 1/10 of 1% of our total group's population, that means there's probably another 2,000 or 3,000 that read it. And the post at that point had about 2,100 people that had read it. How do they have time? Now, some of those folks I know don't have a food truck, but a lot of them do. And a lot of the ones that were the most hateful actually posted from their business page. Not a real bright move. So in any case, here's what you can do to help yourself out so that you're not reaching for your phone whenever it's slow on your food truck and start getting yourself into trouble by posting things when you shouldn't. Be on the Facebook group. Be on the Facebook group when it's slow. Be on the Facebook group when you are closed. If you're open for business and you're on Facebook, it should be to tell people, hey, I'm at 5th and Main. Come down and eat. It should be rousing people to your business. It definitely shouldn't be chastising somebody else because their plating wasn't as pretty as yours. So let's talk about 5 basic things you can do. Preparation is key. Now, you do food prep all the time, but do you prep your time? And what I mean by that is the night before you go to sleep, the last thing you should be doing in your preparation to go to bed would be to make a to-do list for tomorrow. What do I need to get accomplished? And be as thorough as you need to be. You've got to have a list to go by because you will forget things. I forget things, and I have an amazing memory. I was one of those students in school that people hated because I didn't have to study. I can remember what the teacher said. I read something once and I remember it. I was that annoying kid that got straight A's without any effort. But as I've gotten older, I've realized my memory is too cluttered with a lot of nonsense. So I write everything down so I don't forget anymore. You have to write stuff down. I'll tell myself, I'll make a mental inventory. I need 7 things. And I'll list those 7 things off. When I get in front of a computer to place the order, I can't remember them. I write them down. Sometimes I lose the piece of paper I wrote them on, but at least they were written down. Write them down. Preparation. Prepare yourself. And prepare time in there to handle those little hiccups that we have. If you're going to be going to an event that is 30 minutes from your commissary, don't time it to be a 30-minute drive. Time it to be 45 minutes. Get there early. Manage your time. So preparation. Optimize your planning for the day. Don't just think about, well, I have A, B, and C, and D to do. Think about how those things fit into the day. Where's the most appropriate time to be doing those? You want to optimize your whole day. You got 24 hours just like everybody else. Every human being on this planet has 24 hours. No matter how much money they make a year, no matter how poor they are, 24 hours. Manage them. Utilize technology in every possible way that you can. Drives me crazy that people still handwrite tickets. Drives me crazy that people rely on a thermal printer in a very hot environment and then wonder why they can't always read the thermal paper when it falls on something hot. Don't handwrite tickets. There is so much technology out there that's cheap, and there's even some that's free that will get rid of your necessity to handwrite tickets. So utilize that technology. Utilize spreadsheets to help keep track of the basics. Use accounting software to help keep track of when bills are due. Get those reminders. You have a bill coming up in 5 days, 7 days, whatever you set it for. Use technology at every point. Make your life as easy as you can so that you have more time to do the things that are important to grow your business. For example, technology that a lot of food truck owners ignore right now is there's a lot of internet-enabled temperature devices that you can put into your freezer or your refrigeration units. And they'll send you a message when they get above a certain temperature. That's a whole lot better than you discovering the next morning that, the refrigerator went out in the middle of the night, now I have no food. So now you're wasting time to have to go out to shop when had you just invested in a little bit of technology, you'd have gotten a warning and maybe been able to save all that food. So now you can still open on time. You just got to figure out how do I replace or repair this one piece of equipment that failed. But refrigeration can be buffered with ice. You can get dry ice and put it inside a reach-in. There are things you can do to get through the day and still maintain the temperature. Health department won't care. As long as the food, when they stick a thermometer in it, is below 41 degrees, or if you're in one of the states where it's 40, in either case, when it's below whatever your state requires, they won't care. I had a refrigeration unit a number of years ago that it worked really well on the bottom, but it wouldn't keep the pans cold on top. We only had one product that would have been a problem for the health department, and that was we sold tuna salad, and they wanted to see that under the 40 degrees. Everything else they didn't really care about. So it could have been the 44, 43, they wouldn't care, they wouldn't say anything. But that tuna salad, because of its composition, they wanted it under 40. Not a problem. So what I did was every day I would take a 1/3 size pan, fill it up with water, put a 6 size pan inside of that, fill it up with water, and then set the whole thing in the freezer. I'd do about 4 or 5 of those. So the next morning I come into a 1/3 size pan with a block of ice with a 6 size pan inside it. Run just a little teeny tiny bit of warm water over it to remove that 6 size pan. So now I have a 6 size pan divot in a block of ice. That would go on to my reach in, the top part. And then we would put the 6 size pan of the tuna salad inside that, and it would stay 35, 36 degrees all day long. And when the ice melted, get one of the other pans out of the freezer and just swap them around. Health department loved me for it because everything else was at temperature. They didn't care that it was an old-fashioned way of doing it because all they care about is the temperature. They don't care how you arrive at that temperature. Manage your time, manage your equipment. Invest in technology so you don't have to panic when you discover something. Delegate and outsource because you only have so much time just like everybody else. So how you manage that time is there's certain things that you can delegate to other people. There's things that you need to delegate to other people. For example, every task should be graded in, is it important? Is it urgent? And when you have those ones that are important and urgent at the same time, that has to be done by you. When you have things that are important but not urgent, you might be able to delegate those because they're not urgent. They can be done by somebody else. The things that are not important and not urgent, you can ignore. Or maybe delegate those to somebody that can handle those particular activities. But you got to delegate when and where you can. Don't be afraid. Delegation is trust. You trust your spouse, you trust your employees. If you don't have that level of trust, you might want to seek other employees. Because I can guarantee you they're going to be seeking another boss. Implement time blocking techniques. And that's one of those, what is that? I want you to imagine a pyramid. And the pyramid is going to be at the base, the foundation, the widest part. That pyramid is where you spend a lot of your time for the most important things. So if tomorrow your food truck is going to be open and you have to do prep, you might have a whole lot of prep in that time, in that base, in that foundation. That should be the majority of your day. The next step up, the next level on that pyramid, a little bit less important things. You're not going to spend as much time on it, but they're still important. Some of those things could carry to the next day. So they're important, but they're not immediate. They don't have to be done right now. The base is important and immediate, important and urgent. Got to get those things done. So we move up. Important, but maybe I can put them off a day. But they still got to be handled. And at the very top, where you put the least amount of time, where it's the little pointy part, those are the things that are still important to you, and they still need to be worked on, but they get less time. So if you can imagine, you have 6 hours that you're not in service. Give yourself 3 hours for that base, that foundation, the important and urgent stuff that gets you open, that gets your business moving forward, not only prep-wise, but networking-wise and community involvement-wise and getting you moving forward. Then the next set, give it 2 hours. So you're 3 hours and 2 hours, and then 1 hour for the very top. If you chunk your time, or you block out your time in those manners, it helps you to understand where does this particular task need to go. And then it gets done. You get it done. But once you run out of time, that 3 hour allotment, okay, then we'll move on to the stuff that's in the 2 hour allotment. And then we'll move on to the stuff that's in the 1 hour allotment. Because remember, if it has to be done today, it's going to be at the bottom. It's going to be your foundation. And you're going to get it done. Now, if you find out that you have a whole bunch of stuff that has to be done today and you can't get it completed in the time you have allotted, you need help. If that happens repetitively over and over and over, you definitely need help. If you just have 1 day a month where, you got too much stuff to do and don't have enough time to do it in, that's normal. But if you're finding day after day after day, too much time, and you can't get it all done, it's time to get some help. And you got to figure out what the right kind of help is. So if you go through these things that I talked about and just really sit down and plan out your day, you'll actually find you have a lot of free time. Because think about it, right now, as soon as it slows down, I bet you reach for your phone. Let's see what's going on Facebook or Instagram or whatever your social media is that you like to follow. Now, unless you're doing something for the business, it's slow, we need to post something, you have just wasted time. Because all of that stuff can wait till the evening when you're relaxing. and you start to do the mindless things. But if your habit, as soon as you slow down, is to pick up that phone and start thumbing through it, what messages have I missed? And if those messages don't pertain to work, you are now officially goofing off. If you get on Facebook and it does not pertain to work, you are officially goofing off. Look at your habits that you do right now. I guarantee you have a lot of time that is wasted. Do you watch TV? How long are you on social media? Break it down. How long does it take you to cook dinner? I know some food truck owners, one lady in particular, she's crazy fast on the food truck. She's crazy slow when she cooks dinner for the family. Where are you losing time? Where are you hemorrhaging time? Just spend this week writing down everything that you do. Got up this morning at 7 o'clock. 7:10 I was in the bathroom. 7:30 I was done with the shower. 7:45 I was in the car headed to work. Write all that stuff down. Where can you shave time? Where can you get faster? Where can you be more efficient? Because what you're going to find is if you really think you don't have enough time to do all the activities to run your business, and you sit down and start to write them all out, and you're honest with yourself, you'll see where you're losing time. You'll see where you're wasting time, where you're effectively goofing off. Melissa will tell you, I hate wasting time. I can't stand it because I can never recover it. I want every second that I live to be purposeful, to be useful, to be focused on doing something. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm always working. There are TV shows that I will sit down and watch. And for that 1 hour, I'm watching that TV show. I'm not going through the commercials and looking at Facebook and goofing off from watching my TV show. I watch Oak Island. I watch Skinwalker Ranch. But the point is, you can socialize. You can relax. You can not always be working, but it has to be planned. It has to be purposeful. I want you to be successful, but you got to meet me halfway. You got to manage yourself and manage your time. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because you know I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.